Hey guys, this is HDM Tech. Welcome to the full review of Redmi Note 9 Pro Max. So there has been two phones actually, Redmi Note 9 Pro and Redmi Note 9 Pro Max. Almost both have same design, same processor, same battery. The difference is just the cameras. There is a minor difference in the cameras, nothing else. So this is the review of Redmi Note 9 Pro Max. So starting with the processor, it has Snapdragon 720G processor with Adreno 618 GPU. The performance is quite nice. It has a decent performance in gaming as well. There's no issues and lags in gaming performance and also no issues in overall performance, but it would be nice if it has a 730G processor. That might be good enough. And then the form factor, the design. I have been using this phone since quite few days, so I like the design. This has plastic black body, little grippy and rough. At the bottom of the phone it has speaker grills, microphone and a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right side it has power lock unlock button and volume rockers, and it has a dual SIM slot with a memory card slot with expandable up to 512 GB, a quad camera setup at the back, but it has a huge camera bump, so it's quite annoying. It has a very large camera bump which rocks on the table, which you find little annoying. Even if you apply the case which comes with the box, it will still rock on the table. The weight of the phone feels decent, 209 grams, and it has a side mounted fingerprint sensor, so it's quite nice. It works well, quite fast, so there is no delay in the fingerprint sensor. It works well. And don't forget to subscribe the channel. Then the display, it has 6.6-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display with a hole punch cutout at the center of the phone. It's a tiny hole punch, so you can get used to it. The colors are punchy, the display is quite bright, but it doesn't get so much bright in the sunlight, and it has MIUI 11. I personally don't like MIUI. Also, it still has some banned apps like the Cleaner Master and also many bloatwares, so you don't get a clean software experience in a Xiaomi phone still yet. Xiaomi needs to improve this in every phone. Software is not so much clean, you get so much bloatware, so much annoying apps which you kind of don't use anytime. It has 5020 mAh battery, which is quite less compared to their competition, which is M31, which has 6000 mAh battery, but the Redmi Note 9 Pro Max comes with 33-watt fast charging, USB Type-C fast charging in the box, so there should not be any issue in battery. It can last your day pretty well. Probably you can get screen on time of 7 hours on an average, but I was getting 6.5 hours of screen on time with a quite heavy usage, so it's quite nice. The battery performance is quite decent. And then the cameras. It has 64 megapixel primary camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel macro camera and 2 megapixel for depth. Now the cameras are good, or okay I will say. The images are sharp, a little punchy, but it lacks on dynamic range, so if you pinch it out, if you zoom it out, there is much lack of details in the photos. So it has dedicated 64 megapixel option for the shots. If you are shooting with normal camera, you will not get an option with 64 megapixel. It will capture the images with 48 megapixel. So that's the thing. If you want to shoot with 64 megapixel, you have to shoot on a dedicated option. So 64 megapixel and the normal camera shot has a minor difference. The images are sharp, little bit sharp on the 64 megapixel shot. There's not much difference you can say with the normal shot and 64 megapixel. And then the night mode. The night mode is not that good. So the images are so grainy and muddy, you can say. There is so much lack of details. If you will compare with Realme 6 or M31, there is much more better performance in M31 and Realme 6 compared to Redmi Note 9 Pro and Pro Max. And then the macro and depth works quite well. So at night, if you will shoot a shot with a normal mode and a night mode, there's not much kind of difference, but you'll get a little bit of sharper image in night mode. Now, in spite of getting a 64 megapixel camera sensor at the back, you cannot shoot videos with 64 megapixel. It will shoot with 48 megapixels. but you have good options with slow motion. You can shoot up to 960 frames per second, so that's a good thing. And the 32 megapixel in-display camera is also quite nice. It takes good photos, you can say. Not great photos, but good photos. So now the pros and the cons of the phone. Let me start with the pros. It has a great looking display with hole punch cutout, with very thin bezels at the top and the side and the bottom as well. A 33 watt USB Type-C fast charger, nice and slick design. When you are holding the phone, it feels perfect and compact in your hand. And haptic feedback. It has a great haptic vibration motor. It feels nice when you're typing in the phone. It feels premium when you are using the phone. The haptics are nice and you can feel it. And then the downside, the cons. The camera bump. The camera bump is quite annoying. When you put the phone in the table, every time you put the phone on the table, you cannot get rid of that camera bump. Even if you touch accidentally the phone, it will bump and scratch your cameras very easily. And not much great cameras, I would say. So it comes with 3 colors, black, blue and white, with 2 options, 6GB 64 gigs and 6GB 128 gigs options. So overall it's a good phone, great display and good looking design, except of that camera bump. And the confusion when you are buying is, should you buy Redmi Note 9 Pro or Note 9 Pro Max? I would personally suggest you to buy Note 9 Pro because it has a good value for money, 2000 or probably 3000 less than the Pro Max, and there's not much kind of difference in the specs. So you can buy Redmi Note 9 Pro instead of Redmi Note 9 Pro Max. It will not back you with any kind of performance or feel compared to the Redmi Note 9 Pro Max. So comment down below which phone would you buy, Redmi Note 9 Pro or Note 9 Pro Max. So like the video, subscribe the channel and share it. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you for watching and I'll catch you guys in the next one.